It's another great day and another great new dawn that comes along with great opportunities for you to conquer the business world. And with this, you have to be watching Smart 24 TV. You're welcome to SMB Smart Means Business. I'm Rita Cabanyoro, and we'll be driving you up to the hour of 10. And here's what to expect. You're going to be expecting updates regarding business information, where we will also be bringing you an insight, and also look out for our topical discussion, where we'll be highlighting on how COVID-19 still remains an issue, at least to give attention to around the country. And of course, with that, we now head into our S&B reports. But you can be a part of the show in case you are home or anywhere, everywhere, by just downloading the Yo TV channel app, and there you will download it from MTN. You will be able to access Smart 24 TV, and you'll be able to keep updated on our daily programming. And we start with the disposal of plastics, where the Worldwide Fund Nature launches a campaign for which was dubbed Rethink, and also Plastic to Relay on Stakeholders. Now, the irresponsible disposal of plastics are destroying much of the environment. In a bid to curb irresponsible disposal of plastics in the environmental commonest, especially in around water bodies, the Worldwide Fund for Nature has launched out a new campaign dubbed Rethink Plastic, or rally stakeholders, addressing the negotiation or the negative impact caused by plastics on the environment in Uganda. Let us have more on this story, whereby General Katumba Wamala, when he was officiating that campaign, what they had to say about that.
Uncontrolled use and insensitive way of disposing plastic is one of the major causes of environmental degradation in the world today, and in turn, it degrades our lives. We may passionately speak against pollution and environmental degradation, but we continue to harm the nature through our irresponsible and ruthless behavior, such as indiscriminate use of plastics, reckless disposal of waste, and unaffordable lifestyle that does not sustain the earth and its limited resources. In a bid to curb irresponsible disposal of plastic waste in the environment, especially in the water bodies, Worldwide Fund for Nature has launched a new campaign dubbed Rethink Plastic to rally stakeholders address the negative impacts caused by plastics on the environment in Uganda. Worldwide Fund Country Director David Iduli, while launching the One Month campaign at Bugolobi Market, said that plastics clog drainage system, which costs the country billions of shillings annually.
Launching a campaign to clean ourselves, clean our environment of plastic. We don't want plastic in our city. We don't want rubbish in our city. This is called the Earth Hour. The Earth Hour is an international campaign movement for environment, and we have done it in Uganda here for more than 15 years. Now this year and last year we focused on plastics.
According to research conducted in 2021, Kampala Capital City Authority currently grapples with a huge plastic waste collection burden in the city. Basing on studies, an average of 1,500 tons of plastic waste is generated daily, with only 500 tons properly managed, representing a collection efficiency of 30%. This implies that most of the waste generated is not safely recycled and goes into the environment. Poorly disposed plastic waste and polythene bags accounts for blockage of the public drainage system and flooding during heavy downpours in the city and the suburbs. The Works and Transport Minister General Katumba Wamala, while officiating at the campaign held at Kiswa Primary School in Bugolobi, Kampala, urged the public to embrace tree planting and reduce heavy reliance on plastic bags, as to protect our environment. Katumba noted that plastic pollution is alarming due to bad waste management.
Abaana tubalekere ensi ennungi gaffe bajjajjaffe bakola ki tubagirekawo buli muntu akitwalenga mu buvunaanyizibwa bwe akole ki abe ng'asimba omuti buli mwaka kubanga n'ebibala naffe bye tulyako si ffe twabisimba twabisangawo n'olwekyo buli omu abeere n'obuvunaanyizibwa nga munnayuganda asimbe omuti.
According to General Katumba, about 500 billion plastic bags are used every year around the world and 13 million tons of plastic leak into the water bodies. The Nyakawa East MP, Honorable Balime's Ronald Sobuga, vowed to move a motion on the floor of Parliament to curb Kavera manufacturing in the country.
Companies ezikola amachupa wandibadde police ennungamu nga tegenda kusosola nga number 1 tukkiriziganya nti tukole etteeka nti ecupa yonna twambula negenda ate tugiteekako ssente gegenza zebagenda okuba nti ono aguza soda oba aguza amazzi alekayo nusu nga 2 ebibiri ebyo bawasaayo ecupa eyo babimuddiza abatagizizaayo yenna agironze agitwala mu dduuka bamuddiza ssente ezo naye erina okuba nti waliwo enkola ng'eriko n'etteeka.
Naye kati obuzibu buli kubuna obuveera obutono ne plastic bottles buno obutono. Kati gwe mulanga gwe tukuba n'ekirala tusimbe emiti tuzeewo ensi yaffe abaana tubalekere ensi ennungi gaffe bajjajjaffe bakola ki tubagirekawo buli muntu akitwalenga mu buvunaanyizibwa bwe akole ki abe ng'asimba omuti buli mwaka kubanga n'ebibala naffe bye tulyako si ffe twabisimba twabisangawo n'olwekyo buli omu abeere n'obuvunaanyizibwa nga munnayuganda asimbe omuti.
Experts have always noted that Uganda has one of the best policies and institutional frameworks for integrating waste management in East Africa. However, the bulk of this has remained on paper, and the challenge remains on how to translate policy inspirations into actions on the ground. Plastics are made of synthetic organic polymers, which are widely used in different applications, ranging from water bottles, clothing, food packaging, among others. In 2009, the Parliament approved a ban on the importation and manufacturing and use of polythene bags, which are below 30 microns. Pedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV.
Thank you, Pedson Mumbere, for that report. But can Uganda really end plastic pollution? I mean, with me, just one campaign may not just do with the whole, idea of the country, crossing out the country, because it has got a lot of citizens away from that, a lot of communities that do away or have polluted the environment through plastics. It's not just around Kampala areas, though it is the most ranked areas where the disposal of plastics or irresponsible disposal of the lot of away even from plastics are heavily affecting the environment, just because it's the highest populated city around the country, it even being the capital. But away from that, you can share your idea on if Uganda can really just end plastic pollution, and what more should really be done towards the end of plastic pollution. But remember, plastics have contributed a lot towards the economy in regards to recycling. For example, if you look at how the recycling has been as of recent for the financial year 2020, the industry around consuming plastics was estimated around 600 metric tons to be recycled. That is in regards of plastic waste, which is contributing a 6% around that area. And remember what happens after the recycle. That means a lot of other products are going to come out. We have seen what recycling can do with plastics. People have come out with numerous products, even those of which some you are using right now. If you could be using a bottle right now that has least been recycled. And joining me now is Irresponsible Sonko. What do you have to say on whether Uganda, or are we on the right track regarding stopping plastic pollution or the negative or irresponsible disposal of waste management or production around our environment?
Well, the journey of ending plastics in Uganda also draws us back to ending polythenes as well, because these two kind of move together in a way that for the plastic bags it becomes difficult because everywhere you go people are using them. Now when you look at the plastic bottles, I've actually seen a number of initiatives that are being set up. People are actually collecting them. I think in most of the regions now, we have people who normally collect these plastics in sacks, and then they actually collect them at a certain point in a given community so that they're actually taken back for recycling. So I think with such campaigns coming up, plastics have always been recycled. But however, now the push has actually been very evident in the last 5 or 10 years, because now people have actually realized there is also money to it, though people dealing in the plastic still claim that there is limited, they actually receive very few funds, mainly from the government, because what they're doing is to also safeguard the communities, and they believe government is supposed to help them and
protect the environment.
Yes.
Okay, and away from that, we're also looking at a factor here that regardless about the campaign, yes, we appreciate the government has rolled out the campaign, but if this campaign is to happen once a year, to me, is that an impact? Is that an impact that is going to be created across the country?
It is. It is. It's if at all we try to actually, because here you're seeing that this initiative has collected all stakeholders to see that everyone is engaged in this fight. So the impact goes beyond an individual or goes beyond one company. So basically, if at all the stakeholders take part, then it can be an impact.
Okay then, and you're still watching Smart 24 TV. If you just joined in, we are here to drive business up to the hour of 10. And speaking of that, I was telling them earlier how you can download or you can actually watch Smart 24 TV on your TV channel, and especially it would work out very effectively if you downloaded it using MTN or from the MTN app, and you can catch Smart 24 TV on YouTube, Facebook, regardless of where your social media Ville or Riz is at, and make sure you at least click a subscription to follow us to the upcoming information stories. You can catch me up at Twitter, Cabanyoro.
And I'm Irresponsible Sonko on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Well, before we actually even leave this particular story, according to research conducted in 2021, the Kampala Capital City Authority currently grapples with a huge plastic waste collection burden in the city. Basing on studies, an average of 1,500 tons of plastic waste is generated daily. That's on a daily basis, according to reports from KCCA. And when you look at it, with only 500 tons properly managed, so out of the 1,500, then that means 1,000 is completely not managed. It is total waste in the city, causing that pollution or poor disposal as well. And when you look at this, this actually represents a collection efficiency of 30% of the plastics that are managed, the plastic waste. Now, this implies that most of the waste generated is not safely recycled, because the 30% is recycled. If you're to look at this, waste management takes us back to even recycling, the recycling process. So poorly disposed of plastic waste and polythene bags accounts for the blockage of the public drainage systems and flooding during heavy downpours in the city and the suburbs. So for those that have actually been around the city suburbs, I've seen people trolling a number of individuals coming from different areas, let's say Waise, Kawempe, all those. But then plastics and poor disposal of polythenes have actually been laying an impact on the reason as to why this has been rising.
Very, and thank you for those statistics, Joram. But also continuing, as we discussed on plastics and disposal, to me it goes back again to an individual responsibility of the around protection of the environment we're living in. If government does not really have to go down to sensitize enough citizens or give it enough information, or even make an awareness on how polythene disposal or plastic disposal or poor disposal of waste or poor waste management on the environment can impact our environment and also happen to change climate at some point. That we're going to continue seeing, you know, litters around everywhere. We're going to continue seeing people turn down the windows and throwing bottles or throwing polythenes. So to me, if the campaign is not also reaching places deep around the country, in villages, because I mean, environment is not just protecting the urban centers, but even our villages. We have seen poor waste management around rural areas. For example, in my village, I'm not saying it has got a poor environmental management system, but on some areas, the areas I've been to, you can really see, even when it's a rural area, that the disposal management of waste is at a poor stake, or it's really at a poor stake, which needs people to understand the reason as to why we protect the environment. For example, how many people in your village in Buikwe know exactly what the impact is of just throwing a kavera there?
Well, surprisingly, by the way, it is very funny that people in towns don't actually know the impact of that. For a time I've spent in the rural areas, or for the rural areas, because these people are, let's say, farmers mainly, because families in the rural areas or the villages are set out, households normally feed on what they actually plant or grow. And once you go into a garden, the very first thing you do in the morning is to make sure you're clearing the soils. How? Try to look whether they are plastics, whether they are caveras, or whether they are even papers. That is what they are going to tell you. Now, when you look at here in town, you will just
and pale them. I remember even I have done before, by the way.
Yes.
You have to pale them somewhere and have a day of burning them.
Because at least for them, they know the impact. Now,
just
here in town,
about that.
at a time where you will see someone, maybe if you're moving on a border, then you see someone in a taxi or even in a car throwing out either a piece of kavera or throwing out a piece of a plastic bottle, even when they are cleaning, very early in the morning. And then you realize how people don't even know the importance of the recycling and what impact this actually takes us back to a situation whereby you will see that the educated people fail to understand the negative impact of this. So at the end of the day,
I think we learn them in school.
Yes, and they study a lot of everything. And they even write exams defending this particular situation. But when you look at the practical part of it, I think the people in the rural areas normally
are doing better
than we're actually doing. Maybe the banning part of it for plastics is not highly recommended. But
because there is a recycling process
now. But for them, at least they clear off away from the environment.
Okay, thank you so much for that submission. You reminded me about my village life, how you have to wake up, go dig, and we used to have days, by the way. And my mother would say, so tomorrow it is burning grass. So you have to make sure, and we used to burn it in the evening. So when there is maybe windy, so she studies the environment and the weather, and then tomorrow we'll dedicate, okay, tomorrow this time we're going to be burning. So I mean, I bet it's the right one. People in the rural areas are doing better than the urban ones in regards to protecting the environment. And we go for a break. S&B continues shortly.